நேயர்களுக்கு வணக்கம். மிக பெரும் ஆளுமைகள் எல்லாம் சந்திச்சு நம்ம பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம். அவங்க கிட்ட ரைஸுக்கும் அவங்களுக்குமான தொடர்பு பத்தியும் அவங்களோட தொழிலை பத்தியும் நிறைய விஷயங்கள் கேட்டு தெரிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கோம். அந்த விதத்துல இப்ப நம்ம யாரை சந்திக்க போறோம் அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா டாக்டர் கிரஹாம், ஹெட் ஆஃப் ஆபரேஷன்ஸ் யூரோஎக்ஸிம் பேங்க். அவரை தான் சந்திச்சு அவர் இந்த ரைஸ் மாநாட்டில் கலந்துக்கிறதுக்காக எவ்வளோ ஒரு எக்ஸைட்மெண்ட்டோட இருக்காரு அப்படின்றத பற்றியும் அவரோட இந்த யூரோ எக்ஸிம் பேங்க்கை பற்றியும் நிறைய விஷயங்கள் கேட்டு தெரிஞ்சுக்க போகிறோம். வாங்க நிகழ்ச்சிக்குள்ள போகலாம். வணக்கம் சார்.
Naam Graham, thank you very much for your welcome.
Sir, my first question is about the aim of EuroExim Bank. Please explain us about the aim of EuroExim Bank.
Excellent question. So EuroExim Bank is an independent financial organization, and our function is to provide the instruments to help import and export across the world. And that's helping small companies to be able to import the goods they need to do manufacturing and then to re-export as well. So we're moving and assisting buyers across the globe to be able to do business more effectively, to do it efficiently, to do it with financial confidence across the globe.
Sir, EuroExim Bank is holding a Class A FSRA international license. How it is feeling to hold an international certification, sir?
How do we feel? Well, we have the Class A license enables us to do regulated bank activity because we are authorized, supervised, and so regulated by a very strong authority within the financial community. And that means that gives us confidence to be able to issue our instruments, which are regulated instruments like performance bonds and guarantees, letters of credit and standbys to companies to enable them to do international trade. But the Class A license also allows us in the fullness of time to do loans, deposits and all banking activities like a very large institution as well. So it does not stop us from doing every other type of banking activity. However, at the moment, we're very much focused on trade to make sure that, again, communities can bring in the goods and export the goods in a very easy way.
Sir, what are the functions and protocols you need to follow to get this Class A international license, sir? Please explain about that.
Well, certainly the first thing we needed to do was show capital adequacy, that we had our balance sheet, that's the money we had within the bank, sufficient to make sure we could do that business. Because if we take a guarantee, we need to be able to cover the risk. So it's important to understand that our bank has those data and those financial requirements in place, but also that we are able to do those activities, but we deal very much with the small to medium type of companies. We're dealing with the SMEs. And we know, for example, in the Tamil area within India, there are something like 2 million companies who are of that size, looking to perhaps import, looking to export, to serve a population of nearly 70 million people. I mean, this is really, our organization is really not looking at an infrastructure project. We don't build or provide the funds for roads or rail or a port. What we're doing is helping smaller businesses, and they are driving the economy. That's the really important point, that they are the ones who are actually creating wealth, bringing financial inclusion, and making sure that the goods are brought in at a price people can afford. So that's what the license enables us to do from the FSRA. I say a very strong regulator. They are allied also to the East Caribbean Central Bank. So they put in place the protocols on how we work, what regulation we have to follow, how we make sure that we report all our audits to them, and we follow international banking law as part of that process and being a bank in St. Lucia.
Sir, jumping on to next question, which are the countries did EuroExim Bank have branches, sir?
So our head office is in St. Lucia in the Caribbean. We have a representative office which does back office activity, some marketing activity, etc. from London. And that's where I'm based at the moment, and look forward to everybody meeting with us next week in Dubai as well. Apart from that, we work and have created, or we work with a company, a service company, who provide our back office activity in terms of IT and marketing and sales support. And through that company, we have created a network of agents and partners across the globe. 5 years ago, when we started, we had 3 people in our organization trying to sell internationally. Today, our network, we have nearly 8,000 people in 150 countries who are representing the bank, introducing products and services to ensure that any one of those countries can do a cross-border transaction. So we effectively enable any smaller company to get hold of an instrument to make sure the trade can take place at an economic rate, at an efficient rate, and to handle all the problems and protocols where we look at the jurisdictions, the customs, and the regulation there as well. The world of trade is very complex. What we do is simplify the whole process for our customers.
That's great. Please explain us about the operations of EuroExim Bank.
Okay, so as a bank, what we do is we provide services to the smaller corporates, medium-sized corporates for their instruments. Basically, the operations are that our teams will speak with companies who want to do the import process, but they need an invoice and they need to pay their supplier. So what we do is provide the financial instrument to enable them to pay and to receive the goods, because unlike a payment transaction of when you go into a shop, trade internationally can take place between 3 months and 1 year. Now that means that if you go to a major bank, they will request you to lodge or place your money to settle the transaction right at the beginning. Now that means you have got no access to your cash flow, which is locked for up to 1 year. Our process is different. What we are able to do is, because of the way that we work, that the settlement, when that's made, is at the time that we pass ownership of the goods and services to that particular individual company. Their cash flow is not locked. They can do multiple transactions. But we know that cash flow is the lifeblood of business. With no cash flow, there's no business. What we do is enable companies not to have to put their money in one place and lock it, but to be able to do other trades as well. And then we look at settlement taking place later. This means companies can be much more open to do different transactions to get the goods they need. Supply chains are really difficult at the moment with the problems with Ukraine and other particular countries where we had very easy access to goods and raw materials. Things are getting much more complex. So companies are looking at different places to get that. And that means you need instruments, the letter of credit, the standby or the performance bond or guarantee, to ensure you can get the goods at the right time, at the right price, in the right place as well. So it's really important to understand that we are perhaps unique in that our business model to enable those companies to take effect and get the right goods at the right time.
Sir, beautifully explained, sir. You are a member of CAB, Caribbean Association of Bank. How are you feeling about it?
Well, we're very, very confident about what's happening there. I was at the Caribbean Association of Banks meeting last week. We made a major presentation at that event. We were also featured on the radio station of Jamaica, because there are many islands that make up the Caribbean region. All of them have a particular problem, and that is their exports are much, much lower than their imports. There's a huge trade gap with all of the islands there on a ratio of 5-1. So they are importing 5 times more than they export. They were really hit recently with COVID because their major export is tourism, and it's only now coming back as well. So the conference was a great opportunity to meet with the representatives of all the islands to see how we can provide a service that gives them a much better way of doing import to those countries at a cheaper price, because everything needs to be shipped to those islands, but also finding ways to get more financial inclusion for people as well. Some are very poor islands, so we needed to find a way to ensure we have the instruments in place, we don't lock the cash flow, because many banks in those countries only look at the domestic market. They don't want to lend to an institution to do international trade. And again, we can assist them by our business model, helping out with how we do the issuance of our instruments.
What are the advantages you got through CAB, sir?
Advantage for us, well, certainly we're one of the international banks, but we're a very domestic bank within St. Lucia. We don't do business really inside the country. Our business takes place outside. But the Caribbean region is also a gateway for South America and the gateway to North America. And there are goods and services very specific to those islands where we can assist in order to, again, get the right business model, the right pricing, to help those customers move those goods either outbound or to make it easier, more efficient to import as well.
Customer care is a very important thing in a banking sector. Please explain me about the customer care of EuroExim Bank. Can you please explain me about your customer care?
Absolutely. Customer care is one of our main priorities because we do few transactions in relation to someone like an HSBC or a larger institution like that. So what we need to do is we generate and we create a relationship with our clients where we're looking always at follow-on business as well. One transaction is never any good to any bank. What we're looking for is sustained relationship, always networking and relationship to make sure our customers can not only get the right deal for the first transaction, but always the ongoing transaction as well. There is a saying which says, when you get a customer, keep the customer. Really important to have the right deal at the beginning, to start the relationship, to make sure everybody's happy and confident and trusting in the way it works, and then to use that as the basis for future transactions as well. And that means we can increase the value of those transactions and look at, and if the risk factors are reducing, we can do higher value, we can do different types of goods, etc. within the instruments.
So please explain me about the benefits which business people can get through EuroExim Bank, sir.
Okay, so look at the number of things. First of all, we standardize our process. It's very, very simple. We publish our rates, just make it very, very obviously simple on how we operate. So a benefit for a particular user would be open, transparent, honest information being provided consistently across every particular branch, with every particular, through the network of agents and partners as well. So the business model is absolutely set. Our process is absolutely set. You always know where you are in the process. And there is always a one-to-one relationship between our salespeople and the client. You're never just talking into the company not knowing where things are going. So it's really important that people have individual site, email, contact with the right people in the organization. And we're still a small organization from a central point of view that we can move information very, very quickly. We've created an organization which doesn't have multiple layers as well. So we can very easily get to the right people at the right time, whether that's compliance or legal or accounting, financial or sales. We have that very easy routing through the organization. So you know things are going to take place quickly and correctly.
Next, I'm going to talk about the RISE. How did you get to connect with the RISE Association, sir?
Okay, I might defer this question to Mr. Senthil at this point because he is based in Tamil Nadu, and also a number of our salespeople have been speaking with companies who are very much involved in this entrepreneurial rise in order to get the region very much more effective in the way it does its business, how it gets its the goods and services, looking at health, education and tourism, looking at the way we can, in, say, construction, import of raw materials, how we have many women in our organization as well. So from a diversity point of view, we're very much on board with that. Looking at things like thought leadership as well, because we're very heavily featured in magazines like Forbes and Reuters and Bloomberg, but also from our point of view, making sure that we can assist the companies who are doing amazing business at the moment, where they're exporting, for example, to UAE, where we know that sales to that area are up 14%, and that's nearly $6 billion worth of business. And it's being generated by the Tamil community. A lot of that is coming directly from the businesses that we would like to be in contact with, and we already have contact through that. I would say we're offering the solutions which can make it very much more effective in the long term to be able to tackle and relieve some of the challenges which are coming at the moment with international business. But I think the other real issue is this: we have internally very much an ethos of collaboration, sharing prosperity, creating wealth, democracy, working according to the law. And also, this is exactly following the particular line, and this is the desire of the RISE organization: entrepreneurs, professionals, and enthusiasts. And that's exactly what we are in trade: enthusiastic, professional, and we look at helping the entrepreneurs to realize their aspirations as well.
You are going to participate in the Rise Gulf Conference. What are the things you are expecting, sir?
First of all, networking. We always want to be in the forefront and in front of as many people as possible to raise awareness for our organization, but also to give them a really good overview of how we can affect their business and create a partnership with them. So the partnership is really key to the whole thing. And I think business networking for all of us is also a lifeblood of business. You can't have one person who is the only customer you have. Well, you need many, many different clients. And again, our business model looks at providing the services so we can do the cross-border transactions for many different types of goods, as long as they are obviously not sanctioned, or if they're not dual-use goods, or the particular problem with the import or restrictions, then of course we are very much hoping that we can provide that instrument at the right time, again, the right price, the right place, to make sure trade can flow very, very quickly. So we're there, we're a diamond sponsor, as I understand. We're there, we're presenting on Thursday as well. And our real ambition is to meet as many people as possible, present our solutions, and to be in a relationship where we are able to provide our goods and services to as many as possible.
How was it feeling to sponsor a global event like this?
We do a number of international events, and I have been privileged to speak at a number of major events, including Financial Times, Forbes magazine, etc., and CBS News. Those are slightly different because they are very much Zoom related. Here we'll have the opportunity again to meet in person. Being on Zoom is fine, but it's just the three of us on Zoom. Well, the important thing here is that we're going to physically meet the people, describe our service, shake a hand, see the people involved. And by doing that, it's all about building the confidence and trust. And then we'll look at proof of concept to see how we can work with clients in difficult situations, challenging times at the moment, to ensure that we expand our business. They get the comfort they need, they get the goods in at the right price, and we again build a long-term relationship.
Last question, a piece of advice to young entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, well, in India at the moment, 90% of people are entrepreneurs. It's the highest number in any country, anywhere in the world, where people are looking at ways of doing business because we need to build wealth everywhere. For entrepreneurs, my advice would be the following. You don't make profit in your first year. It very rarely happens you do that. What you must do, though, is, again, build these relationships, find out where the critical points are, and provide a service, find a customer, keep the customer. Really important. It's not a one-time transaction. It's really about getting or finding that business niche, that particular part of business that differentiates you, your unique selling point, that then gives you the advantage over many, many other organizations, that you become the point where everybody wants to come. So instead of selling, people are buying your service. It's a different way of working. So you're, in fact, helping buyers to do that. You don't have to necessarily sell. And that's what the entrepreneurial thing is all about, providing confidence to the individuals who want to use a service, again, at the right price. And also, things don't happen overnight. Things take a while to actually build. The point is, reputation takes years to build and a day to kill. So it's really important that reputation, you build, you experiment, you make sure that the process is correct, you stick to process, and then you can build the relationships, networking as well, and the event is a great example of that. So with 1,000 people or so expected, we think we're going to be very busy. And I really think this is a great opportunity, especially as the region is so heavily dependent. So the UAE and India, very, very much linked together. And what we're doing, again, is providing a stronger link than there was before. So for any entrepreneur, I would say, be careful at the beginning, just make sure the business model is right and that the continued networking is really important for that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Graham, for spending your valuable time with us. Thank you for giving us this interview.
Thank you very much indeed. Look forward to next week in Dubai.